you've never had a boxing match before, you need to watch this video before considering getting in the ring. The first thing I want to talk about is the amount of adrenaline your body is going to produce when going into this boxing match. Now, being realistic, you get this adrenaline usually when you spar anyway, but it's just going to be on a much higher level. And my best advice is to try and control that adrenaline. It's good to have a little bit because it keeps your body switched on and it keeps you ready and fired up, which is great. But you need to try and keep that adrenaline minimal, because if you let it get the better of you, then you're going to struggle to still feel energized. It's going to absolutely drain you, make you feel really out of breath, and your heart rate's going to be super high. You need to try and control that adrenaline and channel it into something productive. Because having a boxing match is an exciting scenario, and it can be very nerve-wracking, especially when you land a shot in the fight, you hear the crowd going wild and everyone starts getting excited. You need to try and keep your cool. Now, on to the second thing I want to talk about is that the basics will literally be your best friend. And I wish I soaked this in earlier. I used to get told this all the time, you need to practice the basics, blah, blah. And I used to get bored of it. I used to think, oh, I want to be more advanced. So everyone else is doing the basics. I want to go to that next step. But the basics are genuinely going to be your best friend. When you go into your first boxing match, you need to be sure that you're keeping your hands up even if you're tired, or keeping your backhand up when you throw a hook, and not bringing your chin out when you throw a jab like this. Just little things like that. You need to get down to a T, and you'll probably win your fight just off having really, really good basics. Like the top level boxers in the world. And it's not that they know way more than you do. Obviously, depending on where you're at, if you've never fought before and they're world champion, then yeah, they probably do know a lot more than you. But it's more the fact they're really good at the basics first before they know this advanced information and techniques and blah, 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 blah. So you need to get good at the basics before anything. That's the foundation. If you can't build from your foundations, you're really going to struggle to achieve much if you have a fight, because you're going to get exploited. You know, if you can't keep your hands up when you're absolutely knackered and you're breathing here, your hands are low and you can't move your head, well, you're going to be in danger. So get working on the basics and make sure you prioritize them. Now, on to the third thing we want to talk about. This kind of strings onto the basics as such, but you want to get really, really good at your straight shots, that jab and cross, you know, your lead hand straight and your backhand straight down the middle. These shots are going to, again, I think personally, you can win boxing fights just off these punches. You know, you don't need a huge variety of punches, really. It's good to have these tools, but if you were going into your first boxing match, if it's a charity match or your first amateur fight or whatever it may be, you need to get really good at them straight shots. Like, your jab is the most important punch in the whole of boxing. Your jab is the most important punch. And straight shots are harder to defend than hooks, in my opinion. So I think if you can become a master at them straight shots and the basics, you will look like a really, really professional boxer that looks like they know what they're doing. Whereas if you compare that to someone that goes in and just tries having a dogfight, throwing loads of hooks and getting wild, it doesn't look as professional. So if you can go into your first fight with really good, long, fast, straight shots, whilst having really good basics, you will be very, very dominant, I can promise you that. The fourth point I want to go through, which is quite an interesting one, because obviously if you're getting in a boxing fight, a boxing match, there's a lot of adrenaline, there's a little bit of ego because you're there to win, and you're fighting, you're punching someone else or someone else trying to punch you in front of a crowd. And I imagine usually this happens in the UK and probably all around the world. In that crowd, there's probably people having like alcohol and drinking, so they're getting a bit rowdy, and you know, everyone's getting a bit excited and they want to be entertained. But something I want to think about for you, not for just your own health and safety, but for the sake of your emotions and also you winning and doing well, I want you to actually change your mindset from, oh, I need to kill this person and do this and that, to actually just enjoy the experience. I think everyone is very, very different, right? Everyone's so different. There's not a one size fits all to how you should prepare and feel for a fight. So I'm not saying you absolutely have to change your way and do mine, but you need to try and enjoy the experience as much as you can. So I find with a lot of people I've worked with and cornered and trained, that when we're warming up, everyone else in the room is like very dead quiet and nervous, but I try and bring that cheerfulness to a fight. Like, just enjoy it. What is the worst that can happen? Yeah, of course you could get knocked out, but why even put that in the air? just go in the boxing match and go and enjoy the experience. Like, have fun in there. Like, genuinely go and have fun. So I see a lot of people crumble when they get in the ring. They have all these nerves and they tense up and they fight like how they never usually would spar or train. And it's like, you're letting the nerves get the best of you. You need to go in and enjoy the experience as much as possible and stay calm and relaxed, as you will have a much more clear head and it'll be much easier to get through that fight knowing what you were doing in the ring, and then, well, hopefully getting the win. And even if you do lose, you've took the pressure off yourself anyway. Whereas if you go in with loads of nerves and you ended up freezing and not doing well, you're going to beat yourself up after the fight thinking, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. Just go and have fun, go and enjoy it and take the pressure off yourself. Now, the fifth and final point I want to go through is quite an interesting one for me, because what I want to talk about is showing respect. Now, again, it goes back to the ego thing. You are fighting in front of a crowd and you are punching someone in the face and they're trying to punch you. You could get knocked out, they could get knocked out, you could have a really close fight, it could be quite a wide fight, but you just don't know, right? But I think, especially in amateur boxing, if we go specifically to amateur boxing or a charity boxing match and you're having your first fight, show as much respect as you can. Because at the end of the day, it's nothing personal. Like on your first amateur fight, I doubt you're going to have any clue who the person is you're fighting. You've probably never heard their name before, you don't know where, you might not even know where they're from or never heard of their boxing club, which they're from. But show them some respect, like put your ego aside and show some respect, because at the end of the day, you're fighting in a ring, you've both been training and you both want to win. So try not to be too cocky or disrespectful, and just genuinely be a good person. If you lose the fight, go shake your opponent's hand, tell them well done, shake their coach's hand, and don't be too upset about things. And I know you're in there to win, but try and show your respect and have a bit of class, because I think that does stand out. And just think, if you were sitting in the crowd and you seen a boxer being disrespectful in the ring, they won their fight, but they start getting all cocky and they don't care about their opponent, don't shake their hand. How do you think that looks from your view, from the outside looking in? How does that look? So just think about that. When you're fighting and leading up to a boxing match, show that respect, because people will see that. And yeah, I know you want to win. I'm not saying don't celebrate or don't be excited or do this and that. What I'm saying is just show some respect and have a bit of class about yourself, as people will notice. And I think it's better to know deep down that you've showed your respect and you've tried your best, because boxing is a dangerous sport, very dangerous. Like, people really get hurt, and it can be quite an embarrassing situation. If you were in the ring and you got knocked out in round one, how would that make you feel? So you wouldn't want your opponent standing over you and chanting and getting all worked up. You would like a little bit more respect. So that's my opinion on that one. In amateur boxing, I do believe there should be a little bit more respect. Now, that's going to wrap up today's video. I thought I'd keep that one more authentic. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've already subscribed, then thank you for coming back and watching this video. But there's just 5 things I wanted to talk about and get off my chest a little bit, because this is like the reality of boxing, and part of that stuff is opinionated. I would love to know if you agree with anything specifically I said there, or if you've never fought before and you watch this video because you're about to have your first boxing match, take these tips on board, see how you get on, and I wish you the best of luck for your fight. But otherwise, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do, as I'll be posting way more boxing content. And if you're already subscribed, please drop the video a like and drop a comment if there's any other content you would like to see specifically, as I'll be happy to make a video. If you give me the ideas and stuff you want to work on, I can help you do that. But otherwise, thank you for watching. That is Ring Ready Boxing. That's me, Cody, done, and I'll see you soon.